Alright, so this is just a quick video to show the progress that I've made on CAD and Onshape so far. I'm planning on making a couple more of these just so that I can generally give an overview of what sort of progress I'm making uh, through this CAS experience and to prove that I'm actually doing it and know what I'm doing in general. So in the first reflection, I talked about my do nothing machine. This was from a tutorial, and I'm just going to go through this and just show a really quick thing of what this does. So it really is just this simple. It spins around in a circle. You can see my mouse is tracing around. What I did there is I just click this, and then I can make it move. And that's really it. And so this taught me obviously a lot of things. This was the basics of a lot of the things that I know how to do now. So like I now know how to animate and um, do all kinds of things related to just the most simple of parts. And that's what I was talking about in my first reflection is I know how to say make a block like this and cut this shape hole out of it. That's important and all sorts of stuff like that. So this is just the very simple, the most base general understanding of how all this sort of how these concepts work in general. And that was very helpful for me in my learning process. So that led on to more complicated things like the butterfly knife, which I talked about in a different experience. So in this, if you have not looked at the model that I uploaded on that reflection, I believe I uploaded a model of this. Here it is. So I have this pin here, which is on a real knife, just keeps it closed. And then this is where I was experimenting. I'm all in assemblies right now. I have my individual parts that are all visible here. Um, but I can kind of see how it's going to work, and this is sort of experimenting with the mate feature, and that was a really important thing for me was to experiment with that and see what I could do with it. So being able to make this move the way it did and stop there, I couldn't move it any further. That was a big milestone for me in this process. So it looks a little odd sometimes when it opens, it kind of jerks, but it does get the process across and really working out how to do everything on this handle, that was probably one of the biggest successes I've had in learning CAD initially because you get all these curves here, and then it's also sort of triangular, just a little bit, and it's just a lot of different shapes that are not easy to make immediately. So that was my second project, and as I talked about in just this reflection, I did have a bit of a problem here with how many sketches and then extrusions I made. And this is not fixed on this one, but in the case of something like the power cable bracket, which is the project that I worked on for the past week or so, I originally, when I made my first one, had a lot of sketches here. And that was not something that my robotics mentor Steve liked. He said it's a good practice to not do that. So I remade it, and then when I'm back to this still has a few, still has 7, but like on the one cable, it only has 5. And to do the very most basic of things, to get everything except for this shape up here, it's only 2 sketches. And that was a big success for me, was to do that. And so through his advice, I've changed up my design significantly to make this sort of central hole, and I can show the section view here, which is a special mode. So you can see the hole gets thinner there. Um, and this feature is something I did not know about, and I learned from him, from Steve. He helped me learn that. So this is just ongoing work on this has been done in order to build a piece for robotics, and that piece is now functional and is about to be installed on the robot. So that was very exciting to finally get something that's going to be used. The last thing, and this one I'll talk about in my next reflection. I'm finishing it a little early and doing the reflection a little bit late. Um, this is going to be a future project, and this is related to an arm on our robot that's going to use this extrusion material to slide along each other and then have like pulleys in here. So what I've done is I've learned how to connect pieces in special ways, and then at the same time, like I did on the butterfly knife, I've learned how to get things to carry each other. So I can get this arm to sort of telescope like this. And that was a huge success on my process here. So those are the biggest of projects I've made, but really the things that I've learned through all this are just how to run this in general, how to run this system in just the simplest of ways. So when I started, I would have no idea how to do what I'm about to do right now. I'm just flying through these steps, and I can sort of make, well, really whatever I want pretty quickly. And from there, I can make it work into a way that I want it to work, which is a huge benefit for me. That's something that well, I didn't really expect I'd be able to do so quickly. So being able to sort of sketch this stuff, and this doesn't really do anything for me, but then as soon as I want, I can extrude this and that, or maybe not this one, and I can just do this sort of thing. I don't know what this would do for me. It's just the fact that I can make that is evidence of my continued growth and ability in this CAS experience. So that is the overview of my current CAD knowledge, and I'm hoping to do more than one of these videos so that I can sort of track my process as I'm going through. So hopefully that was informative, given that I know not everybody can really understand how to run through a CAD project, and it's a little bit slow for just reviewing evidence. But that's all I have for this overview. Thank you for watching.